Good day, I'm Mark from MKIRIKACHA TV. In this video, I'm going to show you how to directly sow tomato seeds into the ground or a garden bed for maximum success. Let's get into it. Firstly, why would you want to sow tomato seeds directly into the garden bed instead of into pots for planting out as seedlings later? Well, directly sowing tomato seeds into the garden has several advantages, such as stronger root development. Tomatoes grown from direct seeding develop deep, undisturbed root systems, making them more resilient to drought, wind, and pests. No transplant shock. Seedlings started in punnets or trays need to be planted out, and this transplanting can cause problems like stress or shock because you disturb the root ball, slowing the plant's growth or in severe cases, even killing it. You get more of a normal growth cycle. Have you heard of the expression leggy plants? This can happen when seedlings grow too long in a protected environment like a greenhouse, waiting to be planted out into the garden. Directly sown seeds germinate and grow compact and strong, immediately adapting to the natural outdoor environment, leading to hardy plants that are better adjusted to local conditions. There's no need to harden the plants off. You know how you've been advised to take a seedling in its punnet, and then remove it from the greenhouse for a few hours, put it back in, expose it to sunlight really slowly so that it can adapt to the conditions. And then finally, after a few days or sometimes a week, you can then plant it in its outdoor location. Well, you can skip all of that. And finally, direct sowing is less work and lower cost. There's no need for seed trays, grow lights, heating mats, or indoor space. This saves time and money compared to starting seeds indoors in a greenhouse and using all that equipment. In this example, I directly sowed several varieties of heirloom and organic tomatoes in this G-tunnel raised bed configuration. The crop I had in before was some bitter gourd that had taken over the tunnel. One of the problems in our subtropical climate is the rainfall. We get a lot of it. This constant barrage of rain, mostly through the summer months, can wash away nutrients. So before sowing the seeds, I had to do a lot of refurbishments to these raised beds to ensure that the tomatoes had enough nutrients and good soil structure to grow well. Out of all the crops I grow, tomatoes, especially the larger varieties, get the most pre-planting soil preparation because it's a hungry plant. It grows big fruit, takes a lot of energy to grow, and is also susceptible to disease and pest attack. So you want to get these plants off to the best start possible. In this case, I raided the last of my compost bays and had just enough to top up both long garden beds with rich compost, made mostly from banana plant waste. The structure of the compost means it holds water for longer, giving the tomatoes access to moisture and nutrients for longer. The next product I added was some rock minerals. Now, depending on your soil, adding extra rock minerals might not be completely necessary, but it can't hurt. What it might do is just give your tomato plants the edge, those missing micronutrients and trace elements that can make your tomato plants go from good to excellent and improve productivity. After the rock minerals, I added organic fertilizer. In this case, the fertilizer is plant-based. Reason I use organic fertilizer, whether it's plant or animal-based, is because it's more sustainable than synthetically made fertilizer. It won't add extra salt to your soil, it encourages microbial activity, and besides feeding your plants, it adds extra fill to your growing medium. I then give the whole lot a good watering in. This settles the additives down and helps to combine them into the soil before I go adding the mulch. And remember, mulch, mulch, mulch. I prefer a seed-free straw or sugar cane mulch. Lucerne is good too, but it can be extra expensive. What this does is it locks in moisture, protects the roots from excess heat or cold, suppresses weeds, keeps the topsoil from crusting over and repelling water, and slows heavy rain down so fewer nutrients get lost. I always give newly laid mulch a watering to hold it in place, reduce dust, and make it easier to part, which is the next step. I have decided to sow several different varieties of tomatoes from Survival Seeds Australia, mostly larger varieties. Sowing them now in early autumn in our subtropical climate is because I want the fruit to be ripening in winter when there are fewer fruit flies around. I don't want the fruit ripening in spring or early summer. Even though the tomato plants do like the warmer spring weather here, the problem is that the fruit fly, specifically the European and Queensland fruit fly, stings the big tomatoes and lays a maggot inside, which then eats the fruit from the inside out, turning it to a garbage, mushy, rotten mess. You can bag the fruit or try to net the whole tomato plant, but it's a real pain to do that. You can also grow cherry tomatoes, they're more acidic, and fruit flies don't tend to sting them as much. But this year, I wanted to grow some nice, big, juicy heirloom tomatoes, so this is what I'm doing. The next thing I do is part the mulch, making small circles about a foot apart or slightly less, close to the base of the trellis for the vines to grow up. In each circle I add some of my homemade seed raising mix made from sifted compost. The reason why I add some of this compost on the base is just to give the seeds a buffer from any concentrated additives that might burn the seed or seedling when it first germinates. I then sow the seeds on top of the compost base and cover with some more of that compost seed raising mix. I sowed the front row in batches of 4 for each variety, and on the back row, I sowed the thicker variety only because I have never tried growing it before. Apparently, it has excellent taste, is an early cropper, and has very good disease resistance, so I'm keen to find out how well that goes. When you direct sow, anything can happen. Rodents can dig them up, snails and slugs can chew them off, possums might come along and eat them. So I keep watch over the beds for any signs of pests and, if necessary, cover the area with a wire basket or plastic domes for protection. These domes can also create a slightly warmer environment, like a mini greenhouse. And then it's just a matter of waiting for the seedlings to emerge. Once they reach about 4 inches high with their second set of leaves, I will start thinning them out to the strongest seedling, and then train that one plant up the trellis. So, why doesn't everyone direct sow tomatoes? Admittedly, tomatoes directly sown grow best in a warm climate with a long growing season. Tomato seeds need a soil temperature above 15 degrees Celsius, or even a constant 20 degrees Celsius to germinate correctly and grow well. People in colder climates with shorter summers may prefer to start seeds indoors, or in a hothouse to get a head start. If you found this video helpful, give it a big thumbs up, share it around, and subscribe to MKIRIKACHA TV if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Cheers, and comment where you are watching from. I'd love to know you.